Welcome to PLZ Soccer's Saturday preview show, joined today with Alan Ruff and Alison McConnell. We've replaced Tam Ruffy because his performances in the quiz have been nothing short of woeful.
Shocking. He's let me win 3 weeks in a row. He's not let me win, but...
and you're going to return the favour to me this week.
Well, I'm on a run here, so...
No pressure, Ali, don't worry. But let's get to the football then. Later on today, we've got Hearts against Aberdeen. Is this the race for third, Ruffy?
Yeah, I think it is. I think Aberdeen will be getting into that game trying to get a draw. I don't think they'll obviously try and win the game, but I think they'll know at the back of their minds a draw would be enough to get that third place. 5
points separate the two of them just now. Alison, do you see Aberdeen slipping up at all?
No. I don't. I think form has been good since Barry Robson took over. I think quite incredible that he made the shortlist for the Football Writers Manager of the Year. I think that would be indicative of the job he's done since taking over from Jim Goodwin. I think from where they were to where they are now, I think they are the team with a bit of momentum. I wouldn't envisage that they would slip, although it's very interesting. If Hearts were to come away, of course, with the win, then it makes it a very intriguing finale to it.
Yeah. After 7 straight wins though, Ruffy, Aberdeen, they've taken a bit of a dip, so it's not a great time to be going to Tynecastle. That's the only positive that Hearts can maybe take.
No, it isn't a great time, but they know what's there at the end of the day. They know where they've been and where they are now, and you would think that the players would have the bit between the teeth, to see it through, and I think they have got certain players, particularly up front. Are they still missing Duke? I don't know if he's still out, but
I'm not sure.
They certainly have enough players to go there and get a draw. I think Hearts maybe have went off the boil a wee bit.
Okay, what are you going for then?
I've went for a draw, I think.
A draw?
I did, right? I went for a draw, 1 each.
Alison?
Yeah, I think I'd be inclined to go for a draw too. I think Hearts know they have to win it. I think they'll go out and look to ask questions of Aberdeen. But I think Aberdeen have got enough about them to come away with something, and I think Aberdeen know that if they come away with a point, then it's done. Their job's done, and few would have envisaged that just a couple of months ago.
Score then? What are you going for?
I want to say 2 each.
2 each, okay, 2 draws, right. Then Celtic against St Mirren. This is Celtic's first home game since wrapping up the title. Do you think the atmosphere will be electric as it normally is at Celtic Park, or because of the result last weekend, will there be a little bit, maybe that'll put it on a back burner a little bit?
I don't think necessarily the result last weekend will have any effect on the atmosphere and the crowd. I think they'll get a warm welcome when they go out. Sometimes I think these games can be quite anticlimactic because the job's done, the title's been won. It's not necessarily the party atmosphere that you'll get on the day when the trophy's handed over and all the rest of it. So sometimes I think these games can actually be a bit odd, just because you're almost in no man's land of where it is and what it means. However, I think Celtic fans will be keen to get back to Celtic Park. It is the first opportunity they've got to go and congratulate the team on winning. I think it's the weather's to be nice. I think it's supposed to be a good day. I think you'll see good numbers coming out. In terms of the game itself, I think sometimes it can fall a bit flat.
Yeah. Okay, St Mirren then, they were so unlucky last weekend against Ruffy, conceded a last minute penalty. Their main objective obviously is still Europe. Can they get it?
No, I don't think so. I think the fixtures have went against them. Obviously that draw last week sort of just stumbled them a wee bit. I think if they'd got the 3 points there, they would be really thinking they could, but I don't think so. Like Ali, it'll be a full house, place will be buzzing. Last week's game will just be shelved out the road, nobody will be talking about it. It'll be all about tomorrow and the game's running up to the final. So I think Celtic will get back onto the front foot, and I think they'll win 2-0.
2-0, Ali?
Yeah, I'm going to say 3-0.
3-0, right, okay. We've got Kilmarnock and St Johnstone, bottom 6. A huge win for Kilmarnock last week, Ruffy against Livingston, and it's at home again, so that can only be another positive.
Yeah, they were my tip for the bottom 2, but I keep saying it, when the split came and they got 3 home ties, I said that might be the saviour for them. I think it will be again tomorrow. St Johnstone have showed me nothing at all. Even up front, they're not even looking like scoring. So I think it'll be the same as last week for Kilmarnock. I think it'll be another 2-0 win.
Right, okay. Ali, 2 wins in their last 10 games for St Johnstone. They're 5 points off Dundee United at the bottom. Can they get dragged into it as well, do you think?
I think there's no question that they're going to be dragged into it. I've seen St Johnstone quite a bit over the last few weeks. I think they've looked toothless up front. They've got nothing. They've no menace at all in the final third. And I think Kilmarnock although they've struggled this term, their home form has been decent. At Rugby Park, they pick up results. I fancy them to win tomorrow, and I think absolutely that puts St Johnstone in the mix. Obviously depends what happens with Dundee United, but no, I think St Johnstone know that they're on the verge of just falling into that abyss.
What are you going for?
I'm going to say 1-0 Kilmarnock.
1-0 Kilmarnock, okay then. Motherwell and Ross County. Kettlewells almost got them to be a dominant force at Fir Park, but their form right now, it says European contender level. Is that the problem with the split? That you just missed out on things like this?
Yeah, I think it can be. I think it can be a bit frustrating for teams that are in Motherwell's position, and you've seen it in previous years where maybe the team that finishes 7th could actually eclipse the team that was in 6th in terms of points banked. I think that is one of the criticisms of the split. Overall, I think sometimes it does do its job in terms of generating a bit of excitement. However, I can see its limitations. I think Stuart Kettlewell will just be delighted that they've finished the season so strongly, that in terms of laying foundations for a new campaign, that they've done particularly well. He'll know that there's a bit of rebuilding now to be done in the summer. I think we would all expect that Kevin Van Veen will be off come the end of the season, which is quite a significant hole to fill for next season. So I think he'll be utilising the remaining games just to make sure that he's maybe keeping an eye on 1 or 2 players, a couple of young players just coming into the side, maybe giving them an opportunity of some game time. But it's one of those points in the season which can be very rare, I think, when there's limited pressure on sides. There's always an element of pressure in first team games, but I think it gives scope for managers like Stuart an opportunity to have a look at his squad in terms of his planning for next season. Yeah,
definitely. Ross County though, Ruffy, is this kind of game they're going to go a wee bit more direct, do you think?
Well, I think Malcolm Mackay knows that the most points he can get, the easier it'll be for the remaining games. They are a team of battlers, I think they will go down there. I think Motherwell are the formed team, but I've just got a feeling Ross County will battle right until the end. And I think they'll get something out of the game. I don't think they'll win the game, but I think they're good enough to maybe get a draw. 1 each.
1 each you're going for, right? What did you say, Ellie?
No.
Not having that?
I think Motherwell will win. I think Van Veen can still hit that 30 goal mark.
I still get the chance.
He goes, I know he was playing last week with a bit of an ankle injury. I'm not sure if he's fully fit, but I think he would be desperate to hit that. If there's scope to do it, I think he'd want to do it.
He's out tomorrow. He's not playing.
Try to throw you off,
I don't see Ross County taking anything from it. I think it's a Motherwell win.
What scoreline are you going for, did you say that?
I'm going to say 2-0 Motherwell.
2-0 Motherwell, right, okay. Livingston, Dundee United, Ruffy. Livingston have fallen off the wagon and then some. David Martindale says it's a complete confidence issue now.
Yeah, I believe it would be. Any team that goes on that kind of run, it doesn't matter who you've got on the side. It'd be interesting to see if he has to start making a decision of the players who are not going to be there next year, and give some of the guys who might be there next year, who's not getting a game, a chance. So team selection will be a big one, and I just think again Dundee United fighting for their lives. That Livingston don't seem to have anything to play for, but I think they'll still get something out of the game. So I've went sat on the fence in this one as well. I've went 1 each.
This is your tactic now, isn't it? You're going draws so that Tam doesn't overtake him. Tam gets all upset sitting here when he does that. Dundee United, they said they won't be underestimating Livingston right enough, and they are a different team when they're at home. Do you think so?
Yeah, I think so, although I think Dundee United would have been delighted to see Livingston coming up on the fixture list. I think since the split took place, I think Livingston have just fallen apart. I think they've lost their way, and I think Dundee United know the magnitude of this game. They can't put a foot wrong tomorrow. I think it's almost their season in microcosm now. They need all 3 points. They need to win. They need to go on the front foot. I think they would win it. I think I'm going to go for a United win.
What are you going for, score?
I'm going to say 2-1.
2-1, right, okay. Last but not least, tomorrow, Hibs against Rangers. Bill said it's not really fair the way it's worked out, because this will be the 3rd time that Rangers will have played at Easter Roads. Can there be a way to work it so that...
No, there isn't. They all decided that's what they were going to do. They all were agreement with everything. They all know at the beginning of the season it's going to be somebody's going to get three away and 2 at home. And just the way the fixtures pan out throughout the season. So you just got to get on with it. If they want to change it, then they should change it at the beginning of the season and add another 4 teams or 6 teams, and then you won't have that problem. But they don't do that, so hell mend them.
Simple, there you go then. The board says, the Rangers board, including James Bisgrove and Michael Bailiff, says that what the fans are expecting at Rangers in terms of players coming in, it's going to be what they expect. They're going to get those new faces, and Cantwell and Raskin have certainly started that excitement for the fans, I would say, Ali.
Yeah, I think they've offered something. I think they've offered a note of positivity for Rangers. I think Todd Cantwell in particular, I thought he played well last weekend against Celtic. I think he's got a bit about him. And I think that win over Celtic last Saturday was important, just in maybe alleviating a bit of pressure at the start of the new campaign next season. I think when you go 4 games without taking a win out of Celtic, I think pressure starts to mount. I think they really needed that win, and I think Cantwell looks like a player that Rangers could build that midfield around. I think and Raskin too. I think they've both offered something a bit fresh. I think we've spoken about this at length before on the show about how stale Rangers got when there's not been a high turnover of first team players. I think they need the recruitment to be right this summer, and they need to support those players that are there to try and push on now to another level, because I think there has been quite a considerable gap between them and Celtic.
Yeah, just before we move on to the quiz then, from a Hibs perspective, Ruffy, is third just too much for them at this point now?
No, they'll be thinking they can get something out of that game tomorrow.
Right,
obviously, the last game's Hibs and Hearts, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, there'll be 3 points up for there as well. You know, I think it's going to be an exciting game. I think both teams will be obviously out to try and win the game. As Ali said, the weather will be good. There'll be a full stadium. It'll be a great atmosphere. So I still think Rangers have got too much in the locker for Hibs. So I've went Rangers to win 2-1.
2-1, and?
Yeah, I think Rangers will win.
Okay, what are you going for?
2-0.